Hi guys! So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a line drawing of our city. Now, you're going to be using some fine liners. Hopefully you've got one of these in your resource packs, or you can pick up some of these at any stationery shop. The numbers on the top tell you how thick the nib is. So this one is a 1.0, which is a really thick nib there. You should have a 0.5, so this is obviously half the size of this, and you've got a 0.8 as well, which is in the middle-ish of these two. So you can use any of these, or you can actually even just use a ballpoint pen, but it needs to be waterproof, because next week what you're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to use this awesome device, which is your water brush to use with your watercolors. So let's get started. You are going to be using one whole page of your sketchbook. It's up to you whether you want to use landscape or portrait. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip this over and use it just like this. Now, I'm sure you can see here, I have been Googling buildings of Hong Kong. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be making a collection of different line drawings, just using line and shape to create your city. So obviously I'm going to choose Hong Kong. I haven't been here that long, so I'm always interested in looking at different buildings and different architecture of Hong Kong. You, however, you could maybe choose the city where you're from, or where your adults are from, or even where you want to go, and then you can do your own research. Make sure that you find the photos are actually from that place, because just be careful with your research. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by looking at one of my favorite buildings in Hong Kong, which is the Bank of China. It's incredibly iconic. It's the one that you can definitely see from the harbour and all around Hong Kong, and also it has this fantastic shape at the bottom as well. So what you're going to do is you need to use a device to make sure that you've got the building in front of you, or alternatively, if you're lucky enough and you're surrounded by lots of buildings, you can be inspired by those and you can draw them as well. So you're going to decide, first of all, where you're going to place your building. Now, this is going to be quite tricky because you're going to be Googling and finding images that are from different perspectives. Now, the word perspective is incredibly important for our video. This perspective is as if I were on the street and I were looking up. However, this picture here is taken from a view that is looking at kind of the middle area of the building. And then you can, of course, go to this one, which is taken from higher. And then this one, there's lots of different views, which is absolutely fine. You can choose different perspectives. That means it's just going to be a real mixture and a real lovely different perspective drawings of buildings in Hong Kong. The idea is that I want you to really study the drawing, study the architecture, and just really have a look at the lines and the details. We see these buildings most days, and if you choose another city, it's really important that you're copying exactly rather than just guessing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the pen. This is going to be scary, but don't worry. What I don't want you to do is head straight for the pencil and the rubber, or a ruler. That's really important. Today I want us to be practicing how we're using our arms and how we can control our pen to create straight lines. So let's go for it. I'm going to draw a line down here. For me, this is quite scary too. Now I'm going to, oh, that's quite a good straight line. I'm pretty happy with that. If I'm not, don't worry about it. So we've got this angle here. Now, a really good trick actually that I've learned is to put your pen on the angle that the line is that you want to be copying. So I want to copy this line. So if you put it on here like this, and then you move your hand across and you go like this, you can get the line. So there you have the correct angle. And here as well, if you were to put your pen here, don't move your hand, come down, and you've got the angle there, look. Perfect. So let's crack on with the details. The details of this are very important. Smaller at the top because you're looking further up, so it appears smaller, although it isn't, and we're going to come down and get bigger as we come towards us. And then you've got all of those Bank of China iconic patterns on there. The challenge for you today is going to be getting all of these details in. The more details you add, the better. Now you can see I've done my ones not quite right there, that's fine. Have a go, get my angle there. Get that angle in, comes across, then we've got these crisscrosses here. Comes down, and another crisscross down. And then they're not lines, are they? They are actually shapes. Another handy tip is if you turn your book, it can actually be easier. So we've got the line here. Triangle, obviously getting wider as we come down. We've got this big line here, and then we've got the cross at the bottom. I mean, if you can do the cross without actually crossing, that would be way better. And then you've got, of course, the antennae at the top. Now remember, things aren't lines. You build up shape by using line. If I were to just draw one line, the antenna isn't one line, it's a shape. It's thicker than that, isn't it? Now, if you really wanted to persevere with this, what I would ask you to do is to then draw all of the lines in here. If you want to, another idea is, are they squares? I'm looking really closely here, can't really see that they're squares. What I would ask you to do is maybe, if you don't want to draw all the lines, just choose parts of it. So I really like this part here, and you can see then there's squares because obviously you're closer. So just choose part of it. If you don't want to do the whole thing, just choose sections that you like, and then it actually goes right across. See, I'm looking really closely. I've never actually looked that close at this building. So it's also a really good way to learn about the buildings in Hong Kong, which is pretty cool. So you've got your Bank of China there. Let's go back and have another look at some other buildings. Now, we know that the Bank of China is obviously next to other buildings in Hong Kong, but I want to put it next to something else. So we've got these other iconic buildings in Hong Kong. We've got these fantastic old buildings, these old walk-ups, which are absolutely awesome. In fact, I've definitely taken some pictures of this before. And again, you've got the different perspectives. So again, you can use the angles, and I'm gonna have a go at drawing next to it as well. So this is another real tricky one because you've got balconies, you've got all sorts, but really, really have a go. So I'm gonna come up from here, and we're gonna go, in fact, I might choose a different photo. Choose a photo that you think's good for you. Let's go with this one. So we're gonna drop down, remember no rulers, and we're gonna measure that angle. I'm gonna bring my pen up like this, and we're gonna measure that one there, and it comes down to here. And then we've got that middle line. Fantastic. So then any lines that you see will be going in the same angle as this towards the middle, so with a little bit wider. remember these are 3 lines, but they're not lines, they are very detailed, like this. And then you've got your balcony, which can be, is actually really tricky. Yeah, just checking that. Comes all the way across. And then the next one is a little bit higher. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here, and I am going to fill my page up to about here with all different buildings, putting them into each other, which is the tricky part. So here, I might put the ICC behind those buildings. So you're going to stitch all of your buildings together. Now this should take you about an hour. So instead of watching me for an hour, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed things up.